Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to rabbiforme.org. Just 3 days ago, on August 11th, one of the most decorated and celebrated actors of our generation, Robin Williams, took his life tragically. Since then, for the past 3 days, the entire world has been talking about suicide, how to prevent it, what to do when someone's in such a situation of depression. And there's a lot of awareness that's been created about the topic of suicide. That's why we decided to bring that to the table at Rabbi For Me. We always discuss things that are trending, things that are relevant to the particular time. When I hear suicide, I automatically think back to a story that happened just about 10 years ago. I was a yeshiva student, and there was a boy that used to frequent the yeshiva. He was from another school. He ended up leaving, and he ended up dropping out of his school, and he ended up in a Jewish but a very secular school. Now, at this school, he was given an assignment that he was having a lot of trouble with it. It was the biggest assignment of the year, and so what did he do? He came back to the yeshiva, and he came over to me and he asked me for some help. We took out some books and we were looking for an answer, looking for some way to explain this problem, this project that he had, and this is something that we came up with. I'll tell you the question. This was a Jewish but very secular, very universalist type of school, and they had a question from Maimonides. I'm going to pull Maimonides up on the screen, and let's see what he says. Okay, everybody should see now on the screen. This is from Maimonides, The Laws of Divorce, Gerushin, Chapter 2, Halacha 20. When a man whom the law requires to be compelled to divorce his wife does not desire to divorce her, the court should have him beaten until he consents, at which time they should have a get written. The get is acceptable. This applies all times and in all places. Similarly, if Gentiles beat him while telling him, do what the Jews are telling you to do, and the Jews have the Gentiles apply pressure on him until he consents to divorce his wife, the divorce is acceptable. If, however, the Gentiles compel him to write a get on their own initiative, the get is unacceptable. The rationale is that the law requires him to give a divorce, not the Gentiles that are forcing him. Why is this get not void? Meaning, when the Jewish court forces him to give a get, then it is a divorce. Then it is a good divorce. But when Gentiles force him on their own initiative, the divorce is invalid, because the concept of being compelled against one's will applies only when speaking about a person who is being compelled and forced to do something that the Torah does not obligate him to do. E.g., a person who was beaten until he consented to a sale or to give a present. If, however, a person's evil inclination presses him to negate the observance of a mitzvah or to commit a transgression, and he was beaten until he performed the action he was obligated to perform, or he dissociated himself from the forbidden act, he is not considered to have been forced against his will. On the contrary, it is he himself who is forcing his own conduct to become debased. Now, listen up here, because this is the important part. With regard to this person who outwardly refuses to divorce his wife, he wants to be part of the Jewish people. He wants to perform all of the mitzvahs and eschew all transgressions. It is only his evil inclination that presses him. Therefore, when he is beaten until his evil inclination has been weakened, and he consents to the divorce, he is considered to have performed the divorce willfully. Let's talk about this in simple English. What this law is basically saying, it gives take for example, you have the Jewish court says so-and-so has to divorce his wife. He says, no, I'm not interested in divorce. So what they do is take out their baseball bats, they beat him up a little bit, and he says, oh, no, okay, fine, I'll do it. Then he writes the divorce, and everything's good. But if Gentiles, on their own initiative, take the baseball bats and beat him up, and say, give a Jewish divorce to your wife, then it's an invalid divorce. Because the divorce has to be coming, you're not allowed to force someone to get divorced. So the question is, what do you mean? When the Jewish court tells him, he's also being forced. And it's something that especially in the secular world, the modern world, people wonder, what is this about, religion, forcing to do religion? I can do what I want. Who's forcing him? Why can you force him? And that was the question, that was the project that this young man had to rationalize. He had to explain in rational terms what gives the court the right to beat someone until he does what Torah says, religion. How can you force someone to practice religion? The answer that we came up with is an analogy from suicide. Now, hear me out until I finish. If you see someone standing on the Brooklyn Bridge ready to jump off, what would you do? What would you not do? Of course, you would do whatever's in your power. You'd call 911. They would send over the helicopters and the nets, and they would try to persuade him. They'd try to save his life. But maybe ask yourself a question. What is it your business to be telling him that life isn't, that life is worth living? Obviously, this person could be, he's a grown man. It could be he's 63 years old. He can make his own decisions. He lived been around the block more times than me. And he obviously came to the conclusion that life is not worth living. So what gives me the right to force him to live? Obviously, he's in a lot of pain. The answer is obviously that someone who is willing to take his life, someone who's willing to give up life, is not healthy. It's not a matter of preference. Someone prefers to live, someone prefers to not live. In Kabbalah, there are certain axioms that are presented as necessities for a person. Things that a person, everybody's equal in this. Number one is everybody has the desire to live. Number two, people have the desire to procreate. That is one and the same thing. Someone having children, that's a continuation of themselves. So the same way that I want to live, I know that I'm not going to live forever. So if I have children, they will continue living. The question that comes up over here, well, if someone feels that life is not worth living, it's not a matter of preference. Someone who says life is not worth living, that obviously means that they need help. It means that they're sick. They need to be in a clinic. Let's go back to our rationalization over here. There's another thing that everybody has a desire for. Every Jew has the desire to do the right thing. Every person has a desire to do the right thing. And when a person comes to the conclusion that no, I don't want to do what's right, or in this case, what Torah says, Torah wants this certain man to give a divorce to his wife because there was something wrong in their marriage, and a person says, no, I don't want to do what Torah says, so this person is obviously, it's a matter that he's not healthy, that he needs a little bit of help. And if he gets the proper education, obviously with love, and he's taught he's taught what the right thing is, then he will obviously come back to his senses and make the right decisions. And just to further clarify, most of these cases, specifically the case in Maimonides that we just read from, is only applicable in, it's not applicable anymore, and the cases that, those particular cases these days wouldn't require getting divorced. Alrighty, everybody, have a good one, and hope to see you next time.